Why the Bears can win the NFC North in 2025. I'm going to break that down here on today's episode of Chicago Bears Now. I first want to give everybody a round of applause. We crossed 124,000 subscribers over the weekend. Next goal is 125K, baby. Can we get there before training camp? This time of year, obviously, it can be a slower time, but that gives us about 6 weeks or so to get to our next milestone. If you want to subscribe, support the show, daily Bears content for free, we got you covered. Share our channel with a friend. We would appreciate that as well. I'm Harrison Graham. On today's show, I'm going to dive into the Bears' path of winning the NFC North, because I do think it's a possibility for the Bears to be the team that goes from worst to first in the NFL this season. You look at the division last year, obviously it became a 3-team division and really a 2-team division for the final month. Detroit and Minnesota had incredible regular seasons. The Packers were very good as well, won 11 games. And then the Bears, after the Hail Mary loss to Washington, never recovered. If that doesn't happen, who knows? Maybe it's a 4-team division into the month of December, but we will never know that. Things fell apart. The coaching staff started getting fired, and they lost 10 in a row in the game. The rest is history. But now we're on to 2025, and a lot of things have changed for all 4 of these teams. So I do think there's a path to the Bears winning the North this season. Number one reason, I think it's the most improved team in the division by far, maybe the most improved team in the NFL. Because first off, as bad as things got last year, that was better than a 5-win team. I mean, how many games late due to incompetency did they lose? Green Bay the first time. They don't want more yards. They settle for a long field goal. It gets tipped. They lose by 1 point. The Washington Hail Mary loss. Just coaching mistakes down the stretch. Tyreek Stevenson player mistake on the Hail Mary. Detroit on Thanksgiving. At minimum, that should have been a field goal attempt to force overtime and then have a chance to win there. The first Minnesota game, when they rallied back, got the onside kick, and then couldn't get it done in overtime. Like, there were 4, 5, 6 games that didn't go the Bears' way that could have last year, and maybe that 5-12 is 8-9. Now, that probably wouldn't have been for the best because they probably would have kept Matt Eberflus, but my point is they were already better than what their record says just in terms of talent last year, but now you improve the coaching staff, go from Flus to Ben Johnson and all the way across the board. You trade for Jonah Jackson, Joe Thuney. You signed Drew Dalman. You signed Dio Dangbo, Grady Jarrett. You add key pieces in free agency. You get Colston Loveland, Luther Bird in the draft, who haven't practiced much this spring, so we'll see how quickly they pick things up. But I think you found a couple other contributors as well, Ozzie Trapillo, Shamar Turner, Kyle Monungai. Like, on paper, I think this team improved more than any other team in the division. The only notable losses are Keenan Allen, who still is unsigned, and Tevin Jenkins, who's signed to be a backup in Cleveland. So your 2 biggest losses, one still hasn't signed, and the other one signed on to be a backup for basically no money with the Browns. That's pretty telling when it comes to your roster situation. Okay, number 2. The Vikings' major quarterback question. Listen, J.J. McCarthy, there's a lot to like about him. The intangibles, natural leader. I think he's got a pretty good arm. The reality is he's played 0 snaps in the NFL. I don't care how good Kevin O'Connell is. I don't care how touted McCarthy is as a player. The reality of life in the NFL is until you play, you are a complete unknown. And that is what he is. We have one preseason game of pretty good tape to go off of. And the preseason means very close to nil. Very close to nil. No one's running complex stuff. It's all vanilla, just sit and cover 2. Like, no one's trying to give anything away. I like JJ. I have no idea if he's going to be a good pro. Maybe he's going to be awesome. Who knows? But say what you want about Sam Darnold. Until the last 2 games, Week 18 in the playoff game, he played like a top 6, top 7 quarterback last year. Even if Darnold played above his head, like even if he wasn't going to do that again this year, like, is JJ going to play to that level? Chances are probably not. Like, the Vikings are probably hoping middle of the pack QB play. Like, be the 15th best quarterback in the league. Our defense will run the ball better this year. That's probably what they're thinking. But if you go from 35 touchdowns from Sam Darnold to 20 with J.J. McCarthy, it's a pretty big difference. So we'll see if he can answer the bell or not. Speaking of quarterbacks, speaking of Caleb Williams, get yourself a jersey for only $100 today at chatsports.com/Caleb Jersey. That is chatsports.com/Caleb Jersey. All right. The Lions coaching exodus. They just lost a ton, man. And in the NFL, unlike other sports, coaching matters a lot. I'm not saying it doesn't matter at all in the NBA, in Major League Baseball, in the NHL. I'm saying it matters much more in the NFL because every play is called by a coach. Like in the NBA, sometimes you go 6-7 minutes. It's not pick up at the rack, but it's just kind of free-flowing basketball, right? There's not as much constant X's and O's. Coaching matters a lot. From the X's and O's to the motivation factor to being relatable to players. Matt Eberflus had very little of any of that. He ran a fine defense, but even his defense, as good as it was at times, was still pretty vanilla. I think Dennis Allen's going to get you more there for the Bears. You get Ben Johnson for the Lions. They lose Ben Johnson. They had by far the best offense in the NFL last year. 70 touchdown drives, or 46 touchdown drives of 70 yards or more, most in the NFL a year ago. Aaron Glenn, they lost a ton of players on defense throughout the season last year, and he still kept them competitive for the most part. Detroit lost both of them plus 6 more assistants. 6! Like, that's a lot to ask. And I think the wild card in all this is naturally you would think Jared Goff is probably going to decline at least a little, right? I like Jared Goff. I'm a Jared Goff defender. I think he's a good player. But is he going to play as good as he has the past 3 years? Because look at the year before Ben Johnson. Still solid numbers, right? I know it's scoffing at those numbers in 2021 in just 14 games. Like, that's solid. But he went from that to elite. His last 3 years, he averages basically 4,500 yards, 32 touchdowns, and 10 picks. Like, is he doing that without Ben Johnson? Maybe he is. And if he is, that kudos to Jared Goff. He's one of the elite quarterbacks in the NFL. But I could see him falling back. Maybe he's more like 25 touchdowns and 13 picks and 4,000 yards instead of 4,500 yards. Like, that adds up over the course of a season. I just think Ben Johnson's creativity and ability to get the most out of Jared Goff, I think Johnson deserves a lot of credit. Like I said, I'm a Goff guy. He played well under Sean McVay with the Rams. But it is undisputable that when he got Ben Johnson, he never played better. And now he doesn't have him anymore. So is he going to keep the train rolling, or could there be some rocky steps? I think naturally it's reasonable to think that it could be at least a somewhat turmoil period for Detroit this year with a couple of new coordinators. Okay, and then Green Bay. I kind of think they have an identity crisis because Jordan Love 2 years ago finishes on an absolute heater, and they make him the highest paid quarterback in the NFL, at least briefly, and then he's been topped by Dak and Josh Allen, etc. And then last year, he gets hurt week 1, and it never felt like Matt LaFleur fully trusted him. They became a run-first offense under Josh Jacobs. Now, part of that was Jacobs was just fantastic, so feed the beast, right? But I watched that playoff game against the Eagles last year. They were scared to let Love throw. He threw 3 picks. Didn't look good at all. And at times last season, it's like, is Jordan Love good? Like, I think he's solid, but like the reality is he played one half of a really good season in 2023. The first half of that year, he was pretty bad. And last year, I would say he was above average overall. Like, he was solid. He wasn't great. Right? He wasn't anything special. Like, they need more out of him. And if they don't get it, are the Packers winning the division? I don't think they can win the division with last year's version of Jordan Love. Like, Josh Jacobs can't do it alone. Love's they're paying him to be one of the best quarterbacks in the league, and I would say last year he was like the 16th best. Like, if he doesn't play at a top 10 QB level, I don't think you're going to win the division. I don't think their roster is as good as Minnesota's. I'm not sure it's as good as Detroit or Chicago's. And I feel like LaFleur's stuck in the spot where he probably wants to throw the ball more, but he doesn't really trust Jordan Love. They went out and drafted 2 receivers. I don't know. It feels weird. They don't have a good pass rush. They cut Jair Alexander. Their cornerbacks are terrible. I think they have some glaring holes on that team. I really do. I think in the end, when you look at this division right now, all 3 other teams have legitimate question marks. Now, obviously the Bears have questions too. I'm not saying that. But I think like if you were just going to play natural stock up, stock down in the NFC North, I think the Bears stock is up and the others are either status quo or stock down. Like, even if you're still really high on the Lions, are they going to win 15 games again? Probably not. They probably wouldn't have done that if they kept Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn. And now without those guys, they're going to go 15-2? I don't think so. Like they could lose 4 more games than they won compared to last year and still win 11 games. So they're going to regress. The question is how much. Like, do they just regress to like 13 wins and still win the division, or are they more like a 10, 11 win team? If they're more of the latter, then the Bears could compete with them. Vikings. What if J.J. McCarthy's just not that good? We have no idea. He hasn't played. What if Jordan Love is just kind of who he is? He's this up and down roller coaster, and Josh Jacobs is solid, but he can't. He's not Saquon. I don't know. I just think it's fair to say that these teams have questions. The Bears are the most improved team of the division. They should have won 7, if not 8 or 9 games last year as it is, and now they made all these upgrades from coaching to player acquisition. Why not us? That's all I'm going to say. Why not us? Who wins the NFC North this year? Type CHI for the Bears, DET for the Lions, FGB for the Packers, or MIN for the Minnesota Vikings. Get your thoughts in down in the comment section below. My name is Harrison Graham. Do not forget to hit that subscribe button. We will continue to pump out content on a daily basis. So hit the button and turn on notifications. That way you never miss an episode here on Chicago Bears Now.